Thank you for the invitation, and I have great honor to be on this platform to provide some of the strategic vision on the cybersecurity for the nation as well. So I'm really grateful and saying thanks to the CGS platform to invite me for this presentation. Nowadays, when things are going to be inbuilt with the technology and with the network and the technology, so the cyber terrorism and crimes are going that much rapidly as well. So we need to cater the cyber terrorism and cyber crime as well. For that, I have prepared a presentation. I have prepared some. Okay. As far as cyber terrorism is concerned, earlier the terrorists were using physical weapons like guns and things, but now when the technology is here and built with every product and with every solution and everything, the terrorists are using cyber weapons which are not physical but they are virtual. We cannot see them, but they can harm us up to the maximum level. So we need to look into the cyber terrorism and cyber terrorism solutions as well. Nowadays, when things are going rapidly built with the technology, cyber terrorism is also been increasing. Tomorrow's terrorist, now the era has been changed, and now cybersecurity weapons instead of physical weapons are being used for wars. Now a single hacker can completely compromise a complete infrastructure and critical infrastructure to get the control of national internet, health, education, and banking and electricity system. US has officially declared that the fifth warfare domain after land, sea, and air and space, because they knows that the importance of cyber warfare, because all things are going to be on the cyber and technology. Here we will be discussing the cyber terrorism on the high level. How cyber terrorism is happening. Factors contributing to the cyber terrorism, it's all dependent on the network and the infrastructure and internet, because of the lack of the understanding of the security risk, lack of the funding of educate network security tools and solutions, and the main thing is the awareness, because we are running all of the tools within the infrastructure. We have the network we have the system, we have the applications, but we really do not know how the hacker can use these infrastructure against the nation, against our personal things, and against our personal privacy. Bitcoins, we all knows must about the Bitcoin. Is the cryptocurrency right nowadays using by most of the cyber terrorists, because this is the only decentralized money which is used by the world, and you cannot track who is transacting the money from where. So it's been used by the cyber terrorists. What are cyber terrorism is on the globe? I have to share some of the examples which are being done on the world. This is the first example: Iran's nuclear facilities. It was being compromised by one of the endpoint which were being used by one of the officer working with the Iran nuclear department, and his endpoint was being compromised by the hacker. And the hacker, after compromising this endpoint, hacker got all the nuclear plans and designs and every configurations. So that's how the nuclear facility of the Iran were compromised due to the cybersecurity leak and tools. 9/11 Twin Towers attack. It was also been involved. It's also been based on the cyber terrorism, because the terrorists were doing the complete research work before the attack, and they have all the public information of the the Twin Towers attack, the Twin Towers, and they planned accordingly. Power outage by the hackers. It was in Ukraine. It was completely electricity down in all over the country in Ukraine, and it was also just due to the cyber terrorism and cyber security leak. the hacker was compromised. The hacker was able to compromise the endpoint of the machine, which were being used by the one of the officer working with the electricity department of Ukraine. So that's how we can see it was only a single endpoint machine, but due to the compromise of that machine, it was completely power outage in the whole country. Lockheed Martin is a fighter plane. It was produced by the US. It was a complete stealth fighter plane. It was able to detect all the radars and all these systems. It was also compromised by one of the Chinese hacker. He was able to hack the endpoint machine of the officer working for this fighter plane production team, and he was able to get all the designs and planning and every critical document of that plane. So after that, they were able to produce their own plan with more capabilities and more features. Cyber attacks against Pakistan critical infrastructure. What we are facing, our core routers of Pakistan are being compromised by CGHQ due to the inbuilt vulnerability of the Cisco iOS. It was been compromised since 2006, and we got to know about that after 2010. And maybe most of the routers are still compromised, but we cannot analyze because we do not have any centralized monitoring system, monitoring analysis system, or forensics. So our core routers have also been compromised, and all of the internet data could be leaked and could be viewed by the CGHQ. NTC was hacked. It was also due to the endpoint machine compromise. One of the officer who was working with the VIP division of the NTC, and his endpoint machine was compromised by the hacker, and he got all the VIP numbers, all the NTC numbers from that machine, and most of the defense numbers, most of the critical official numbers were there in the directory, and hacker were able to compromise all those data. Mobiling CDR servers were being hacked by the hackers. It was also due to the endpoint machine. So we can see most of the cyber crimes and cyber incidents are being done only due to the endpoint machines. Maybe we can able to cover the core data centers and core infrastructure of the country, because the scope of the data center is not that big, but the endpoint machine, the endpoint scope is so big. Everybody use the smartphone, everybody use the laptop, everybody use the internet. So the awareness and these sessions should be done across the Pakistan. Nadra database were compromised. It was being done because the vendor who have provided the application database to the Nadra, they were compromised, and their application was also compromised. Nowadays, maybe you can see that most of the people are offering the Nadra database, the Nadra tree of the families with a very low cost, maybe for the 1,000, maybe for the 2,000. So that was also being done by the application security and network infrastructure. What are the solutions? How we can avoid these cyber crimes and cyber terrorism? China has adopted the concept of Great Firewall of China. They are using their own social media networks. They are using their own social messengers. They are using their also network search engines. Why not Pakistan? Pakistan should have also developed a complete social media server, social media groups, social media applications within the Pakistan, so we can have a complete control on the media, on the social media as well. So that's how, if I go more into the details, most of the mobile users are being compromised due to the lack of security, because they are using some third-party packages, third-party application which is being developed by the some other countries, and they can have complete access to our mobile phones and the data. If mobile operators can offer a complete in-house, inbuilt applications and social media packages, we can avoid such compromises. What should be the national cybersecurity strategy on the national level? First of all, we need to look into the defense side. I have seen, unfortunately, we are more focused on the offensive side. We can have we can have different malwares, we can have different trojans, just to get the data, just to get the information of other for enemy countries. But we are lacking the focus on the defensive side, which is which should be more focused. The other thing is the national governance. I cannot see the department who is governing the risk and the compliance and the policy framework. The policy, first of all, the policy should be there, but the governance should also be there. Because if I offer a policy, the policy is with all telecom operators and enterprises, but the compliance is not ensured, so it will be useless. Number 3, the national capabilities should be developed. R&D, research and development center should be there. Number 2, resources should be skilled over here, and we should entertain them with a good good environment and good workflows, so they can stay in the Pakistan. I have seen many of the people who are Pakistanis and they are very skilled, but they are no more in the Pakistan, because in the Pakistan they have no opportunity to work on the security. The main thing is the security is not mandatory. We are not considering security as a mandatory. We think that there is no physical attack, or there I cannot see the attack, so it's nothing. So we do not consider it as mandatory. Number 4, the national response. We see a lot of cyber cases, cyber incidents within the Pakistan and out of from the international internet world, but we cannot respond to them. We can see there is a disaster, but we cannot respond to them because we do not have the capabilities, centralized capabilities. We have some resources with the different platforms, with the different agencies, but we are not on the same page. We do not work on the same page, and we are not here. We are not working together to protect. Consensus, coordination and cooperation. It should be there between all the agencies working for the cyber and cyber crimes and cyber terrorism and cyber defense. Like FIA have really worked a lot on the cybercrime, and Amar Jafri Saab, respected, he developed the cybercrime wing for the FIA. But unfortunately, due to the lack of resources, due to the lack of skills, and due to the lack of tools, the funding, we are still on the cyber crimes. We cannot see the cyber terrorism. We cannot look into the cyber terrorists. Thank you very much.